my name is Caitlin Carlock, and today I will be teaching you how to compost, or more specifically, how to start a compost bin or pile. Now to start off, what is composting? Composting is speeding up the natural rate of decomposition by creating a healthy environment for decomposers, such as worms, bacteria, fungi, and beetles. Now, what they do is they take complex organic substances and break them down into more simple substances that are rich and soil-like, and that is called humus. Now, it can be used as food for soil, and it's extremely nutrient-dense and great for if you are trying to feed your soil and grow healthy plants. Now, let's get started. So the first step to creating a compost bin or pile is choosing your location. So you're going to want a flat, shaded area that is relatively close to a water source, because you are going to want to keep it a little bit damp, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Now, we're going to start filling our compost bin. So you want to choose a compost bin that has a covering, because you want to make sure that you don't attract animals or unwanted insects. I live in an area that has a lot of deer in the woods, and I definitely don't want a whole bunch of deer trying to take up all of my good nutrient-rich compost. So what we're going to do is we're going to start filling it up with our organic materials. So there are two different types of materials that you can add to your compost. There are green materials that are nitrogen-rich, and there are brown materials that are carbon-rich. Now, brown materials that are carbon-rich are materials such as leaves, twigs, we have some mulch, and we have some corn husks. And you could also add some shredded paper or shredded cardboard to the mix. And then our green materials are food waste from my kitchen, and we have some clippings from bushes. You can use garden clippings as well, or any unwanted weeds. All right, so for starting off, we are going to have the ratio of brown to green be 75% brown materials to 25% brown materials, to 25% green materials. So let's start filling it up. I'm going to start off with some twigs to fill the bottom of my bin, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to break them down a little bit more. They're already pretty small, but I'm going to break them down into even smaller pieces because I want my compost to develop relatively fast. All right, so I'm probably just going to speed this up while I do it. So now that I have a good solid layer of broken twigs at the bottom, I'm going to fill it up with another layer of leaves. Now, we want to have alternating layers of brown and green materials. So the next thing I'm going to add is my bush clippings, and they are my green material that are nitrogen based. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with some of my mulch that I got from my grandma's house and some corn husks. And the mulch has broken down quite a bit, so it is pretty good for composting now, but you can even use wood chips that haven't started their decomposition journey yet. So now I am going to add some of my food scraps. Now, as far as food scraps go, you can collect them for about a week in your kitchen as long as you have an airtight container so that it won't start to smell. And the food that you can add to it are pretty much any organic material that are plants or so fruits or vegetables. You cannot add any meat or animal byproducts. So no fish, no milk or dairy products, and you don't want any poultry or beef. All right, because that will bring unwanted animals and insects into your compost pile. My grandma, when I was younger, had a compost pile, which started my composting journey, as I always like to help her with her pile. But she made the mistake of tossing in all of her kitchen scraps, and so whenever I would ride my bike around her house, there would be so many gnats, and I would get gnats in my eyes and have to take them out. It was not pleasant. So if you don't want that to happen, I definitely suggest not adding meat to your compost pile, as it could also bring unwanted bacteria to your decomposers, and you definitely don't want to harm your worms or beetles or bacteria that are creating your wonderful compost. So you can also add tea bags and coffee grounds to your compost. That's what I have here, as well as some of the salad that we don't use. We have some apple cores and everything, and we're just adding that to the pile. And then I'm gonna add some more leaves on top of them. And then I'm gonna add a last layer of my clipping. Alright. I'm gonna top it off with one last little layer of leaves. And you wanna stop when you are about 6 inches from the top of your bin. Alright. And to top it all off, I'm gonna add a layer of potting soil. Now, you can also add a layer of rich soil, but in my area, I don't have any nutrient-rich soil as I'm gonna be creating it. So, I'm just gonna add some potting soil right on top to add some decomposers. I also have some coffee grounds. All right. So now that it's all in here, I'm gonna put the lid on it, and to maintain the bin, you are going to want to turn it 1 to 2 times a week. You could do even once every 2 weeks or even once a month. How much you keep up with it is up to you. So if you keep up with your compost bin regularly, if you always chop up everything that you're going to be putting inside of it and make your clippings really small and turn it a lot, then you're going to have compost faster. It could be around 2 months. And then if you do less work with it, which is also okay, it might take up to 5 or 6 months in order to get some good compost. And you're going to want to keep alternating piles or layers of your brown and green materials, and you want to keep it damp. You want to keep it as damp as a wrung-out sponge. So you're going to just water the top of it, which is what I'm going to do now. You can use anything like a pitchfork or even a stick. You just want to get some air in there because the decomposers do need some oxygen. And what'll start to happen is they're going to decompose things, and you're going to have some hot spots, which are spots where the decomposers are really having a field day and loving what you're giving them. And they are creating a lot of compost for you. And when you have compost, it's going to collect at the bottom of your bin. And yeah, so we're just going to cover it now. I'm going to turn it around 1 to 2 times a week. And why should you compost? Now, composting is really great for the environment. It's food for the soil, so you're definitely going to have some healthy plants grow if you are using your compost to feed your soil. Also, it reduces your food waste significantly. So according to the FDA, 30 to 40% of food is wasted per year. And according to the Delaware Solid Waste Association, according to the Delaware Solid Waste Association, you can reduce your food waste by 15% per year by composting. So it's really great for the environment and to reduce your food waste. Now, the conversation around environmentalism is generally big picture based. So it's conversations around net zero or reducing your carbon footprint, and a lot of it has to do with big manufacturers. But composting shows you that you can help the environment in your own backyard. So, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and happy composting. Bye!